For most of her life, Lena couldn't remember a time when she wasn't helping someone. It started small, watching younger cousins during holidays, picking up groceries after work, calling utility companies when her mother didn't want to sit on hold, filling out forms, remembering passwords, tracking due dates, solving problems before anyone else even noticed they existed. At family gatherings, people joked about it. "Don't ask me, ask Lena. She's basically the babysitter of the family." Everyone laughed. Lena usually laughed, too. What bothered her wasn't the joke itself, it was how often it appeared. Over time, the nickname stopped sounding playful and started sounding accurate. Whenever she talked about her own plans, the conversation somehow shifted. Someone needed a ride, someone needed money transferred, someone forgot a payment, someone needed help with paperwork, and somehow Lena was always standing closest to the solution. She lived with her mother and younger brother in the family home. While both of them worked, many household responsibilities quietly flowed through her. She paid certain bills online, managed automatic payments, kept track of renewal dates, helped in customer service calls nobody else wanted to make. She never kept score. Family wasn't supposed to be a ledger, at least that's what she believed. Then one Tuesday evening, everything changed. The argument itself wasn't important. Nobody was screaming, nobody was throwing things. It started with something minor involving household expenses. Her mother, already irritated, crossed her arms. "If you want to stay here," she said, "start paying rent." The room went silent. Her brother looked down at his phone, the television hummed in the background. For a moment, Lena thought she had misunderstood. Then her mother added, "You're an adult. Nobody gets to live here for free." The words weren't cruel. That was almost worse. They sounded practical to her implications, as if years of contribution could be measured only by a rent payment that wasn't currently being made. Lena looked around the room. Nobody disagreed, nobody said, "That's not fair." Nobody mentioned everything she already did. The realization arrived quietly. Maybe she wasn't family first, maybe she was useful first. That night, she packed, not angrily, not dramatically. She folded clothes into boxes, loaded her car, left a short note saying she needed space. By sunrise, she was gone. The first week felt strange. Freedom sounded wonderful in theory. In reality, it felt lonely. She missed familiar noises, missed shared dinners, even this routine she used to complain about. Several times she almost called home. Several times she stopped herself. If leaving was the wrong decision, she wanted to know because she genuinely regretted it. Not because guilt pulled her back. Then the text arrived. A week after she moved out, her brother. The message came just before lunch. The credit card declined. A second message followed immediately. "Did you forget the payment?" Lena stared at the screen. For years she would have solved the problem before anyone finished asking. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard, then she stopped. Something about the wording caught her attention. Not "Can you help?" Not "Do you know what's happening?" Not even "Are you okay?" Just an assumption that she had failed to complete a task, as if the job still belonged to her. She called him. The moment he answered, panic poured through the speaker. The payment didn't go through. They said we're overdue. What happened? Without thinking twice, she shouted, "What do you mean what happened?" "I moved out." Silence. Not angry silence, confused silence, the kind that appears when someone hears a truth they somehow missed. Her brother cleared his throat. "I just thought you thought I'd keep managing everything." Neither spoke for several seconds, but eventually he admitted, "Maybe." Later that afternoon he asked whether she could call the bank and straighten everything out. Lena agreed to speak with them. Not to fix the problem, but to clarify responsibility. The representative was polite. After verifying account details, she explained something simple. Only authorized account holders could make the required changes. Lena had never actually owned the account. She had merely been helping manage it. The responsibility legally belonged to the account holders themselves. There were no shortcuts, no exceptions. No special arrangements. For once the boundary didn't come from Lena. It came from the system. The representative's explanation ended the conversation immediately. Her brother would have to handle it himself. Over the following weeks other things surfaced. Appointments were missed. Renewals were overlooked. Deadlines arrived unexpectedly. Nothing catastrophic happened. Life simply became harder without the person quietly holding dozens of loose threads together. One evening her mother called. The conversation was awkward. Neither knew exactly where to begin. Eventually her mother said, "I didn't realize how much you were doing." It wasn't an apology, not quite, but it was the closest acknowledgement Lena had received in years. "Neither did I," Lena replied. After they hung up, she sat alone in her apartment. The room was quiet. No celebration followed. No dramatic victory. No moment where everyone suddenly recognized her worth. Real life rarely worked that way, but something important had changed. For the first time, helping others was becoming a choice instead of an expectation. The family still had flaws. Old habits still appeared. Some relatives continued treating her departure as an overreaction. Others began seeing things differently. The future remained uncertain. Yet one thing was clear. When she had left the house, she thought she was walking away from a place she belonged. Instead, she had walked toward a version of herself that no longer needed belonging to be earned.